Hello guys, welcome back to another live Q&A episode of Carnivore Ramblings with just myself today. I'm glad to be here. It is Friday at 6 p.m. in the UK, and the chat currently says it has 0 people in it, which I know is not true. There's at least 4 people in it, so that's just standard. Okay, all right, I'm gonna go through the chat now and see what's going on. We've got Spigniew. You were first, actually. You beat me here even, which is very good. So appreciate that. Thank you. We're just rambling on. Just get most of that. I spent about 40 minutes today trying to sort out my green screen. It's not quite perfect, as you can tell from my hands. Yeah. I don't know. I'm in the same room, same lighting as last time, same setup, same software, same settings, same contrast, same brightness, same smoothness, same greenness. I don't know. But yeah, it's different to last time. So go figure. I don't have thousands of pounds like many YouTubers to invest into expensive recording equipment and studios. This is the best I can do, which I don't think is too bad. I think it's quite audible and quite, well, reasonably okay to watch at times. If you've got any questions, please put them into the chat. This is the one and only time on a Friday to ask me questions. So don't ask me them on Wednesday. Don't ask me on Thursday or Tuesday, because I won't be here to answer them. Or, well, I'll be doing some Saturdays and Sundays with either Bart K and Harry Sopanos. So this is the opportunity to ask me any questions you have. Fortunately, I've been quite lucky that I do tend to have a lot of people in the chat who ask me some questions. And if you value my answers, brilliant. Stick around for more. If you wish to donate to my channel, this is just standard input I'm going to put in, like I usually do with my channel, is to say, if you want to donate to my channel, please do. The best way to do it, which helps me out the best way, is to go directly to my website above, compositionconsultant.com. I have £5, £10 and £25 denominations, which you can quite easily donate through. If you don't want to do that, you want to get something for it, leave a super chat. I get 70% of the fees that come through the super chat. 30% goes to the platform itself. If you wish to gain something for what you're investing in, I do recommend a consultation with myself. That's 17 British pounds, or around about $20.50 for a 40-minute consultation. If you want something else, I can do that as well, probably. So I do training, diet plans, and coaching. I do actually have one coaching spot that's opened up. One of my usual coaching clients has decided to cease their membership. Money gets tight, understandably, so this sort of thing just usually happens. But yeah, I tend to work with around 10 to 15 people at any given time. Then any more than that, and it would make me a rubbish coach, unless I was sat in front of a computer screen all day talking to people, which I don't think is the most health conscious thing to do, for me at least. We've got Jerome in the chat. Nice to see you. Nice and early as well. A couple minutes early. So brilliant. We've got Matthew as well. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. I hope this time is a bit more accessible to you, and I appreciate you're in an hour or two ahead of me, I believe, in Finland. So that's good to see you here. Some of these will be at 7 p.m. UK time, some 6 p.m. UK time. It depends how tired I am. Usually, if I've clocked it in for a certain time, it means it will be at that time. I'm quite reliable in that regard. But outside of that, sometimes people don't get very well. They get a bit ill, so they might have to. It might mean that I am not on the live stream at the exact time. But I'd let you know in the chat beforehand. Hi, Jamie. Nice to see you. Had a good chat earlier. Brilliant. Hey, Sophie. Thanks for making it. Appreciate you're very busy right now bathing small children. So I'm glad you've not dropped the phone in the bath yet. Hi, Tracy. Nice to see you. Hi, Tom. How's it going? Lambs. Got some new people in the chat this time. We've got Jonathan. Another Jonathan. Richard is actually Jonathan. I've done a fast of 5 days and back on carnivore. No more information. Feeling great. That's good to hear. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do that, but it makes me violently sick and feel mentally unstable. So, not a good idea for me. I get too edgy when I do anything like fasting, and that's even doing a butter fast, which I did on Monday. I think I did probably about 36 to 40 or so hours, and I felt all right. I didn't feel hungry or anything, but I did feel a bit shaky, which I do not enjoy that feeling of, and I would not want to do it again. At least for now, how I am. My heart rate goes up, my blood pressure goes up. No, sorry, my blood pressure goes down, heart rate goes up. I start to feel a bit fluttery, which is weird. I don't enjoy that feeling. My inflammation goes down to 0 virtually immediately. My inflammation, at least systemic, is always low because I have a very healthy diet. I try to be quite health conscious if I can. But I don't know. I think there's something to be said for fasting for a lot of people, and I think it's a valuable tool. I've been given very contradictory advice from lots of different people. These people I respect quite highly as well. So you've got one side of people saying, do a 3-day fast, get rid of inflammation and clear your guts out and this sort of thing. Then I get another group of people who say, don't do that. You need to rebuild your muscle and eat high protein and build bone structures and things. I think the safe bet is in the middle. I can keep saying, I think anytime you do anything extreme, it's not going to expedite your results. I think sometimes it can backfire. So in that case, when I'm getting 2 different opinions, I'll go down the middle, which is what I usually think is the best option. For me, I think maybe doing some fasting would be like a day or so. So it'd be, for example, I might do a fast on Monday. Just don't eat on Monday, but eat on, for example, eat on Sunday and Tuesday, but just not on Monday. Might do that. And I might not. I don't know. I'll see. If people straight off the 11 people straight off the bat, that's incredible. Thank you everyone for tuning in the rambles. Yeah, I appreciate that. If you have any questions, this is the time to ask it. Please do not ask me off there questions unless you want to pay me for a consultation. I was working out today, and I just through live Q&As alone each month, I'm doing roughly 20 hours of live Q&As across different platforms and channels. It's actually probably more than that now I think about it through the private membership thing that I'm affiliated with. But yeah, this is the time to ask me. Please do not send me hundreds of messages offline unless you want to pay me. And I just say that because I don't charge a lot of money and it is accessible for pretty much everyone. So I've started to move more too. That's good to hear. Yeah, I noticed when I did the butter fast, I think it was on Monday, I did notice some positive effects. My breathing was a lot clearer. Like I breathe quite okay anyway most of the time. I had better vision as well. I don't know if it's because I have more adrenaline going through my system, but I did notice a profound effect in terms of like cognition, which is quite valuable. I'm coming from a background where I've had chronic fatigue for about, 14 years. I do value that feeling a lot, but it does make me anxious. I don't like that feeling. I choose not to feel that way. But yeah, I'm glad to see that has been helpful for you. What did you eat? All eat today. I have some delicious chicken thighs from the air fryer with some sour cream. Also, we'll be making some meat stocks in the weekend. That's interesting. Yeah, sour cream does go quite well with chicken, especially like fatty thigh cuts. Today, what did I have? I had Thai style beef. Was it coconut? I don't know. Had some chicken. Didn't have any eggs today. Had a few different things. I basically just ate what I could eat. When I don't eat, I don't feel very good. And I get sick quite quick. I don't like that feeling. Yeah, I chase feelings a lot because I'm quite intuitive in that way. But yeah, I've not eaten a lot today. Like I've had 2 meals today. By this point, 6 p.m. UK time, I've had about 3, maybe even 4 in some sort of cases. So quite behind on food, but I'm just relaxing my digestive system a little bit. Minced beef, eggs and cheese. Yeah. So Big Nev is on a very strict, comprehensive diet and training regime at the moment. He doesn't have a bodybuilding competition, but he is very focused on achieving his best physique. That's cool stuff. And he's very, very, very militant about being on top of things. He does stick to a plan, and I admire that a lot because a lot of people won't. That's cool stuff. Has anyone else in here tried red light therapy? Well, Sophie knows I have. I think it's useful. I do notice a calming effect, even just the glasses. I think. I don't know. I think you can use a combination of these things because, ultimately, if they didn't work, people wouldn't be advising to do them, and they wouldn't do them for so long and so religiously. I think the best sort of money you can spend on something is a pair of blue blocking glasses. In terms of like the light thing, outside of like going out in the morning and getting some sundown sort of time. I think these glasses, when you're staring at a screen at night or towards the latter part of the day where the sun goes down, is quite valuable. I mean, these cost me, I believe, 15 British pounds. They're pretty good, pretty good. They do seem to calm me down a lot. This obviously means that I'm somewhat light sensitive, so I value that. Matthew has, not yet, but I want to try to. Have you? Yeah, Richard, if you can get the red lights are useful. Even if you just get these. I've got this pair as well. This is more of my daytime kind of pair. These got like a yellow sort of tinge to them. It just dims things a little bit, I think. And I see a value in using it. Cause and effect. I feel better using them versus staring at a bright screen all day. I do spend a lot of time staring at a screen trying to sort out online stuff, which is quite frustrating at times. But I'm a lot calmer than I used to be. I'd be like shouting, swearing, and throwing the mouse pad and all sorts of stuff in the past. But nowadays I'm a bit like, all right, this isn't working. I need to sort this out now. Yes, currently now, note wonderful effects from using compared to not. I recommend it. Brilliant. Very good. Yeah, some people buy the light panels as well. One thing I'll say is the people that are advising to use the very expensive things, the things that are perhaps out of reach financially for a lot of people, are affiliated with the expensive things. So there's a bit of a conflict of interest there. I'm not convinced at the moment that you need to buy, some people spend like £500 on these things, and I think, really, I notice a benefit from my little £15 LEDs. So I don't know, I might be missing out on a trick here. Maybe I'm only getting half the effect or something. I don't know, but I'm not convinced from on spending a lot of money on some of these things. The best therapy is usually free, or at least cheap. Very good. Yeah, they seem to be useful, and even if it is bogus, like someone sort of came out and proved it as rubbish. When you notice an anecdotal benefit from it, even if it is placebo, I'd take that. You're looking at your health outcomes here. Do you feel better or not? Is your body responding in a healthy way or not? That's what's important. I think so. Yeah. Lambs is in the chat, and he is quite well read on this sort of thing, so he's someone to trust in this regard. He did actually donate me quite a substantial sum of money to spend on these sort of things. So I've now got these at my own place and Sophie's place. So I've got an assortment. So if I've got like an orange pair, but they're like jazzy ones, they're pink really, it's the pink, then like they go fade at the bottom. I don't know how legit they are. You can have them if you want. We've got Rona, I can't see it, Pearson. Sorry if I've butchered your name. I'm new to your chat. Looking forward to rambling. I'm 6 months in, 77 years old, down 35 pounds. Levothyroxine decreased ×3. Bladder spasms gone. Blood pressure down. Wrestling with sugar addiction. Feeling good. Yeah. I seem to be speaking a lot at the moment with people with food addictions of various kinds. It's interesting you've managed to find my channel. How did you find me out of interest? Was it through Pim or was it through someone else? If I can be of any help, please just ask a question in the chat and I'll be happy to offer some advice if I can. Yeah, I think just Amazon. Hunter, nice to see you. Hi, Jonathan. Any thoughts on how to heal gastritis? Any aminos or anything else to take for a stomach lining? I've had gastroenteritis at least 3 or 4 times. I've had very sensitive guts in the past. When I say I've had this, I've been to a GP. They said you got it. So, I'd probably suggest taurine can help with the gut lining, the intestinal barrier, to improve or reduce intestinal permeability. Outside of that, I'm not convinced. I mean, some people use glutamine. I've got some up here actually, but you have to take quite a lot of it. So when they've done studies on it, they said, take, I think up to even 30 grams of it a day in the morning. I kind of think if you have to use so much of something, is it going to be that effective and that sustainable? I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. I'd say taurine would be your best bet for your money. Glutamine you could look into. I'd suggest probably do more of your own research. Vitamin D is useful as well, helping heal the gut. Reducing foods which are possible toxins to you, contaminants. For example, if you notice that you drink a lot of milk and your stomach gets upset, you feel bloated, you feel sick, you have more symptoms of mucosal build-up, perhaps you'd not drink milk, that's one example, or drink less. If you notice that when you have egg whites, or even egg yolks for some people, if you notice you do that and you don't feel as good and you feel a bit bunged up, maybe reduce that a bit. I think medications are highly contraindicated to gut health in general. So that's something to look out for as well. That's something I'm battling with at the moment. So my digestive system and not taking painkillers is a very vicious cycle. I've been in this position before where I've had to take painkillers just to be able to function. But they affect everything else. You do end up feeling worse long-term taking them. But in the short term, you need them because you need to be able to function. So it's quite a tricky one. So yeah, medications, notice food allergies or slight intolerances, glutamine, perhaps taurine, ideally, vitamin D, just check your level is at an appropriate amount if you can get a blood test. Don't eat too much protein, don't put too much through your system, not because protein is going to kill you, but I've been speaking to a lot of people recently that eat substantially more protein than me, but have perhaps a lower requirement than me. It's a Carnivore razor, so that means the simplest answer is usually the best answer, the most appropriate one. So if it's that I'm seeing people eat a lot of protein and they're getting bad stomachs, maybe eat a bit less. There's, that's 4 or 5 things for you to think about just off the top of that. Well, obviously consulting me, I couldn't really investigate much further than that. Welcome. Yeah, 77 years old and still looking to improve the health. That is excellent. Excellent. Fantastic. Lots of fat, stay away from fibers and wheats, Hunter. Yeah, I make the mistake oftentimes of assuming that people are on the carnivore diet already, so it's always the extra things that people don't consider usually. But yeah, don't eat fiber ever, not a single gram. Ooh. And fat as well is going to make up your energy intake. Fat is relatively innocuous, provided you don't have intolerances to certain fats. You can get all your energy from fat near enough, or you probably can actually, and just eat enough protein to heal your body, build tissue, sustain tissue. So I'd advise finding an amount that works for you. not getting too obsessed about ratios or macros in terms of percentages. Just find out what works for you. Increase, decrease things, maybe 10 grams for a few days or even up to a week, see what happens. It's a self-diagnosis thing for a lot of us because we fall into this way of eating because we are fed up with the medical system lying to us. So yes, it may be a self-diagnosis thing. If you do need advice, please speak to me for consultation, or perhaps speak to Professor Barquet. He is excellent at giving you advice. There's a few other people as well, but I like to keep the circle small, at least tight knit. I just told my cousin who's fighting sugar addiction, I don't feel like I'm on a diet. I eat what I like most, and that's why it's easy for me because I don't do anything against my will. That's the autism, I think. I've got the same thing. I don't like to do things I don't want to do. I really don't. I usually find that people like us can find out the best avenue for us to go down because we think carefully about what we're going to do first. Sometimes it is a case of just trial and error and picking something to do and seeing how that affects us. But yeah, we shouldn't ever have to do anything against our will unless it's for the benefit of a loved one or to keep someone going, essentially. Thanks, Jonathan Lambs. Cheers, Hunter. Any questions, please put them below in the chat. Make it obvious it's a question as well, because I don't know if you're just rambling to each other or me. Because otherwise I'll add to the ramblings myself. Hello, I'll be leading a review meeting, but I just let you in the background. Thank you. Appreciate that. Claire's got a great channel if anyone's not subscribed already. It is the name, Beyond the Scale True Healing. I'll try and pin that if I can. Worth checking her stuff out, honestly. I was just one of the few people in our nutrition YouTube space that ask and answer questions that are useful, valid, on topic, relevant. And she's by no means lazy with what she's trying to put out there. She does think carefully about what she's trying to tell people. So I do advise you look at her channel, see what she's got to offer. I think she's actually got more subscribers than me now, so I'm actually the noob on YouTube, which is quite fun. But this is kind of ramblings, and I'm happy to be here and answer your questions for free, but not all the time. Please don't email me or send me like Facebook messages asking me to answer all your questions for free. This is a time to ask them. Hey, Pacelli, nice to see you. Hey man, how's things going? I'm good. Stuffing my face with bacon currently. Not ideal. I feel okay. I'm quite well in myself. Happy. I'm in a lot of pain. My sacrum below my incision site of my back is extremely painful. Sat here now, I'm fine. If I have to move, ooh, that gives me a shot through my system, I'll tell you. But yeah, I'm otherwise well. I've not been able to eat much the last few days. I feel like I am wasting away a bit, but you know, I weigh myself most days. I try to keep top fit that way and think, don't make myself ill. I've known a lot of people become very ill from fasting or under eating. I don't want to get like that. I can see the interaction sometimes, but never mind. Stuff my face with bacon currently. Yeah, I'd love to stuff my face with food I enjoy, but everything makes me feel ill. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hey, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us today. We've got 13 people in the chat now. If you have any questions, please just put them into the chat. Happy to answer basically anything to do with nutrition and exercise. Two things I am quite well read up on. I'll do my best to answer them as best as I can. Sometimes it is a case of consultations, which I've consulted most people in the chat actually, in a private setting. But yeah, just ask away. You're so nice. Yes, I have 4,000. Right, don't rub it in. Hang in there, lad. You'll be right as rain soon enough. I always like our sort of British sayings because to everyone reading that, they probably don't know what it means. Yeah, I think I'll be fine. I spent most of the last trying to think now. For 13, 14 years in pain. The last 4 years in extreme pain. Doesn't really surprise me anymore. I'm quite used to it. I just tried to take a very chilled out approach to it all and not worry too much because I get into my own head of thinking, am I doing the right thing? You know, this expert on Facebook says to do this. This person I know from back home says this. You know, everyone contradicts himself. If there's a right way to do it, I'd have found it. I will find it eventually. It just might mean that my path will be. We'll see. I'll try to keep upbeat though. I understand the value of keeping upbeat when you've got extreme health difficulties and complications at times. I might have a cod liver addiction. Yeah, so Matthew, I believe you told me you asked me if it was okay to have 400 grams of cod liver last time for vitamin A consumption. Your body's probably telling you that you need more. If you're eating it because you're obsessed with it, I don't know. I don't know if it's that sort of thing you could be obsessed with eating. I don't know. But then you might be like, what's his name, Fruit Boy, whatever his name is. Maybe going down that path, you're getting obsessed with eating lots of organs, but be careful. That's the best sort of sensible advice I can give you. Try not to get on the path of just eating cod liver all day, every day. What are your thoughts on Bart's 2 sets of 8 recommendations? Seems legit. What I mean by that is, if you look at the studies on building muscle, muscle protein synthesis, stimulation of muscle fibers, you get most of the benefit out of 1 set. 2 will be a bit more. 3 will be a tiny bit more than that. Now, what Bart believes in is what's called the minimal effective dose. If you chase volume as your metric to improve, you'll run out of recovery capacity to keep getting better. So, for example, if you're doing 10 sets of 10, you find a benefit. All right, you got to increase the weight at some point because otherwise 10 sets of 10 would be too easy. Then you go to 11 sets of 10, 12 sets of 10. You can just keep chasing up that way. The studies do show you can benefit for a muscle group, maybe 2, 3, even 4 times a week, doing 2 sets. So it might be 2 sets of chest press 4 times a week. His kind of thing is like the minimal effective dose, and it does make sense because what he's saying is don't do 2 sets of 8 of rubbish sets. He's saying do 2 sets of hard 8. I think somewhere around that 8 repetition range gives you the most bang for your buck in terms of times tension and load. So what he's saying is you're looking at the middle ground of things. So, I mean, there'll be proponents all the time, and I always speak to people offline, and they say, I do 1 set once every 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, how many big people do you know that do 1 set once every 2 weeks? Then I get another group of people that say, I do 30 sets per workout 5-6 times a week. I say, how many of those sets are difficult? You see what I mean here? So what we're looking at is the minimal effective dose. Then when we find that, we can then add the weight to it so we get stronger. If we standardize the form and technique, once we've done that, we can then add in intensifiers. When we get to the point we can recover from 2 sets of 8 with maybe 3 or 4 times per week, if you're doing a full body split, just like I said, 2-2-2-2 of chest press, for example, then you can think, okay, well, I didn't quite get enough from that. I'm recovering very well. Then you might progress onto doing a body part split, might be upper lower, as you get more advanced, a few years down the line maybe. Same be a push pull leg split or some sort of combination like that. Outside of that, can add in intensifiers. I think people rush into adding intensifiers without maximizing what they can out of the minimal effective dose, like I keep saying. Most people that I ask to show me a set to technical muscular failure is not to technical muscular failure. And I sound very arrogant when I say this, I know how to do it and I can do it better. It's not like that at all. The fact is they cannot do that because they haven't implemented the right standardization of their form. They're shaking everywhere. They're flinging it up. You can see the person's training hard, but training hard and training effective using technical muscular failure are different things. So you got to recognize that in yourself and be objective with what you're doing in the gym. So that's kind of where I stand on it. My own training at the moment is very instinctive. I do what I enjoy. I do what is safe for my body, and I try not to go too far in terms of training to failure or training in terms of volume. Now, if I was in a position where I'd be able to do that, I could recover. If I was sleeping better, if I was eating better, if I was fitter, because I'm not very fit at the moment. If I was maybe, I don't know, if I was not severely injured, well, I say injured, I've had my spine fused. So if I was in a perfect state, I could say, yeah, I'm going to train a lot harder. I'm going to add in intensifiers. I'm going to be training to failure more often, this sort of thing. But at the moment, it's a case of me finding what I can do whilst enjoying it, which is going to be effective, safe, and also not load my body in a way that it will compromise my surgical procedure. So what I'm doing at the moment is things like occlusion training. So I have 4 bands, 2 for my lower body, for my legs, and 2 for my body that I'll use for different body parts. And all I'll do is I'll cuff them around my arms. So cuff them around here, around that side, and then I'll just tighten it. That means I can do the first set, usually about the same sort of strength and volume that I'd usually do. It might be, I don't know, 50 kilos of dips on each arm in total with 20 reps or whatever happens. I don't know. But the second set might be at the same 50 kilos, but I might get 8 reps. The blood, the oxygen going into my system is lower. So my ability to recover from that set is more challenged. So by default, it's becoming more intense. So that's one way that I'll use intensity with a little biohack to my favor. So that just gives you some ideas. I've been rambling on quite a bit there, but I do like the training questions if anyone has any of that. I do like talking about training because it's something I've been doing for a very, very, very long time. Can strength training help improve posture in the elderly? Yes. Next. No, I'll go into more detail. Yeah, because you're maintaining more muscle mass. When you're strength training, you're going to be doing something more than what you were doing before. If you come from a position where you're in a residential living setting, all you do all day is walk up and down stairs or stand in the lift, you go to your apartment, you get back. If you're throwing a ball to your peers sort of thing, because you're playing a game, that'll be your baseline. Anything you do in addition to that can be useful. If you're doing a shoulder press, you're sat in a machine, that'll be additional load to your bones and your muscles that are stabilizing yourself to get stronger. Anytime you get stronger, usually within reason, your posture will improve. Elderly people will have worse posture because of things like osteoporosis, osteopenia, less muscle, less bone mass, less density. They get effectively weakness. So getting stronger can improve your posture, especially if you're a member of the elderly population. I love cod liver too. Do you eat commercial one? I guess it has more heavy metals. I wouldn't be too concerned about heavy metals. Very nutrient dense, that sort of stuff. Very nutrient dense. Lots of selenium. Lots of cofactors as well, which help you run better as a biological mammal. Hey Val, nice to see you. Just a reminder, if anyone has any questions for me, please put them into the chat. This is one of 12 opportunities I give you each month to ask me questions on live in a Q&A setting for free. So this is the time to do it. Red cod is always caught in the wild, no? I think so. I mean, I never hear about farmed cod. I'm not certain. We get farmed salmon and some farmed oysters and mussels and things, but I don't know about cod. Good question. I should ask my stepdad because he is a fisherman. Like he owns a boat. He goes out fishing regularly, so he's probably the best person to ask. Hello, amazing carnivores. Nice to see you, Deck. How are you doing? You're joined here with 15 total live Q&A participants of my Carnivore Rambling segment, Friday, 6 p.m. UK time, every week. A lot of people buy that Icelandic stuff. I'm sure it's not too bad. You can't be perfect. I mean, you got a taste for it. There's probably something in it that you either enjoy or your body needs. So I don't think it's the worst thing for you to eat. I wouldn't be too concerned. I think you're more likely to be ill stressing about eating something that's meant to make you feel good, personally. I like to do 3 heavy sets of 5 usually. I've tried the 2x8 a bit and it feels good, and I get 1 extra in over the 3x5. Both feel about the same workload though in terms of tiredness, etc. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, if you're looking at repetitions, it's what, 16 versus 15. I know ultimately when you're lifting different loads, the load amount can affect how you recover from it. So there's that comes into it as well. I've never really trained below about 6 reps. I'd say really ever. I mean, I've done it sometimes out of fun, but I'd say my general training is somewhere between like 8 and 20, sometimes up to 30. But the set of 30 will be a split set, like a cluster set or a rest wall set. So that's where my nuance is there. Oh God, lamps, yes. Jamie asked, question, the RDA of drinking water is around 2.5 litres. As a carnivore, can we get away with a lot less? Yes, I drink around about 2 litres per day. I'm 6'1" and I weigh 108 kilos and I have around about 90 kilograms of fat-free mass. The average person watching this video will have around half of that, but they won't be 3 foot tall. So yeah, I think the RDA is extreme. I don't pay any attention to these numbers. I think they're excessive oftentimes. And they don't account for the fact that on a carnivore diet, you require less water. I mean, anytime you put sugar in your system, you require more insulin, which is usually followed. Well, glycogen is part water, part glucose. So you need more water in your system. You'll notice when you come to the carnivore diet, you'll drop some weight. Like when I did my butter fast on Monday, I dropped about 1 kilo overnight, near enough, from like one day to the next. Now, if I was to have the same supposed calories from food, and I was to get through mixed diet of carbohydrates versus a carnivore diet, my weight would be about 2 to 3 kilos heavier just because I'm adding in carbs. Now, so my mass is higher, I have a higher requirement for different things. Doesn't mean that I'm heavier because I've got more muscle glycogen. It just means it's more readily topped up. And what usually follows sugar is inflammation. So there's that as well. You'll notice your guts will be bigger if your stomach will be bigger if you're eating a mixed diet. But yeah, I mean, a topic for you to look into, Jamie, is metabolic water. I believe it's for every kilo of fat we process, we get about 1.1 litres of water as a result of metabolic water. So you'll notice if you increase your fat intake, like we mentioned earlier, and decrease your protein, you require less water. And protein does have a diuretic effect. Now, it doesn't mean eating a lot of meat will make you need to drink way more water, but it means you'll drink a bit more. Because you're taking more B vitamins. If that's in excess, your body will find a way to excrete it. That will usually mean that your urinary output will be higher. So that's something to think about as well. Question, what do you think about shrugs? I'm seeing people doing these shrugs with dumbbells, rotation of the shoulders. Any good? Never rotate your shoulders when doing a shrug. It should always be a straight plane of motion. Now, you can find some equipment where you can lean forward or be upright. Trying to think of an example. When I do it, if I was to do it, it might be a bit fun on the green screen. I'd probably be about here, be straight up and down. I can't do it at the moment because my spine is wrecked, but we'll be doing it just arms neutral position. If you've got dumbbells or a bar, swim machine's quite good. Bring them up. Now you're just tilting your head forward so you've got a space for your neck to contract. Now if you do like that, you'll notice your range of motion is less. So don't make that mistake. The movement of the shrug should be very controlled. If you take your neck out, your training overall will be affected because you'll be injured. So be very careful with the shrugs. Do not ever rotate your shoulders when doing a shrug. You either do it straight up and down like this, or you lean forward, then you pull them back slightly. It depends what area of the trapezius you want to work. So the straight up and down will be the upper trapezius, so the front part almost. If you lean forward, it'll be further back. I don't see much value in doing these if you're doing heavy bent over rows, deadlifts. Trapezius muscles do grow very fast and they're quite susceptible to muscle growth. So I wouldn't be too concerned about doing it. If you are going to do it, maybe do 1, maybe 2 sets once or twice a week. I wouldn't be adding it in a lot, unless obviously you're like a pencil neck, then you might think, well, go add these ones in. Even then you look at your biomechanics in other exercises to see if you're lifting correctly. So a lot to think about there, but that's a good question. Thank you. Would you consider as being bloated? My belly is visibly enlarged, probably not extra muscle, but I have zero discomfort. Bloated. Bloated as in, if your stomach is firmer than usual, in the sense that your linea alba, the center of your abdomen, is stretched, that could be considered bloated. If your stools are firm, when I say firm, firm as in difficult to get out, that could mean you're bloated. If you're eating foods that inflame you, that could cause bloating. If you're not in discomfort, it probably just means you've gained some muscle there, but it wouldn't be a lot. You know, the muscular sheath of the abdomen is actually very thin. We think it's thick, it's going to contract it or abs come out of it. It's a thin muscle. It's not nearly as dense as what people think it is. Yeah, that's what I consider as being bloated. Haven't been able to work out, but my friend who has been here for a long time immediately said, you have muscles. I said, I eat muscle. Yeah, I mean, we've seen that in studies. I mean, I know you're not an elderly gentleman, but older elderly people that take in more protein. When I say more protein, I don't mean they just eat loads. I mean they eat an amount that fulfills the requirements they have from being in a deficient state. They will gain muscle mass and they will gain bone density. I notice my bone density seems to go directly upwards in line, correlation, with my overall weight and my muscle mass and my protein intake. Now, I'm not saying you can eat thousands of grams of protein and build your bone structure massively, no. But I think if you fill your requirements, you'll be the maximal denseness that you can be in terms of bone density. Yeah, muscle mass and protein are interlinked very closely. If any questions, guys, please put them in the chat. I'm going to be off probably about 7 o'clock today just because I don't feel my best and I don't want to be being miserable on camera and upsetting everyone. So I've actually got some modelling to do tomorrow, which is always quite a pleasure in some cases. So I'm not looking forward to laying there and being still for very long. But it will be a case where I have to take painkillers just to get through it. Unfortunately, needs must, and I have to earn money. So there's that. But you know, I've been doing it for quite a long time now. The pay is quite good, so I can accept that. So yeah. But what was I going to say? Oh, I've got my fake Pepsi Max today. Can't really see it, but it's the Lidl version or something, or Aldi. It's not too bad. So I'm just drinking this to keep me interested in drinking and well, eating as well. It stimulates my appetite a little bit sometimes. I'm trying to eat because I get very hungry. But I'm not hungry at the moment, but I need to eat. Yeah, my ramblings aren't very good today. I think I need to get a bit better. Oh, better bring Deborah into the chat to see what's going on. Deborah, what do you think? His face is a bit messed up. There we go. Got a few other teddies here. I'll show you this one as well, actually, because I don't know if you guys have seen. This is baby Guy. So we had 2 dogs. A Labradoodle called George, which we still have. He's about 4 years old now. He's mental. And we had a little Cocker Spaniel called Guy. Now we had to sell him because, unfortunately, because my back is under reconstruction. I couldn't walk him anymore. Having 2 dogs is impossible anyway to walk for me. My mum is having hip surgery in 7 days. So that's quite stressful. But yeah, so we couldn't have 2 dogs talk anymore. So we've just got George now. But we had to sell this one. This was Guy, and he was a little Cocker Spaniel. And this is what Sophie bought me as like a substitute present for having to sell Guy. So it's quite sweet of her. I'm actually looking forward to seeing Sophie later today. We're going to stay just out of town somewhere. Me, Sophie, and the 2 girls. That's Maddie and Tilly. I'm probably going to I just got the modelling tomorrow. We go out for a meal, I think, maybe. That meal, what it is, will be, I don't know. It might be like a hot pot sort of thing, so like some beef and marinated stuff. Or it might end up being triple cheeseburger patties from, what do you call it, McDonald's? I don't know. What happened that you needed surgery? Good question. So 13 years ago, roughly, I was illegally tackled in an illegally held rugby match in Italy, and that was part of a school sports tour. What happened is I don't even remember having the ball, funnily enough, which makes it even worse. But I was tackled by an adult because they decided to cheat and have 18-year-olds playing against, I believe I was 13 or 14 at the time. So I wasn't a giant bodybuilder then. I was only a little guy, so but yeah, we played against them, and he tackled me outside of the time of play, outside of the, the sort of outside of the reason. Well, outside of me even having the ball, from what I remember. And it was a bad tackle, a very bad tackle. I felt a crunch, like a clicking in my back, and basically folded me over. I then had to sit on the side of the pitch. I was offered ibuprofen tablet. I didn't take it because I didn't know what it was. At that age, I didn't know what ibuprofen or drugs were, painkillers, anything. And what happened then was nothing. I wasn't taken to hospital. I wasn't given a check. I wasn't asked how I was. I wasn't given an accident report form. Nothing. So what happened was the next day, there was a girl that had a headache on the sports tour. So the same school as me, and she was rushed to hospital to A&E because she had a headache. I was there. I have a headache, mister. All right, we'll go to hospital. How bad is it? All very bad. Okay, they went to hospital. We all went there because we part of the school sports tour. Meanwhile, I was ignored. I partly blame my late diagnosis for autism for that, because had I been recognised as being autistic, people might have listened more. They might have suspected, maybe this guy isn't very well. I did have tears in my eyes. I was in pain. I was hunched over the entire sports tour, and I didn't enjoy it. Then about, I think it was December the 11th, 2021, I was diagnosed with bilateral pars defect, spondylolisthesis, grade 1. And what else? Foraminal narrowing of the L5 level. So basically my nerves were like that. My vertebrae, the bottom of my back, was pushed forward, causing me a lot of irritation and pain. It took so long to diagnose. I was complaining so often to my surgeon, my surgery, my GP, about the pain, and they were prescribing me codeine and other painkiller medications for years. Not one person decided to scan my back and say, oh, you need an x-ray. I do have several videos covering this in very extensive lengths my channel. If you type in composition consultant spine or surgery, you'll come up with all of them. Yeah, that's basically what happened. So I had the surgery in December, I think it's the 12th, so like 9 weeks before this airs. And it was a tricky surgery to do. I had 2 surgeons. Involved a decompression, a fusion, a laminectomy, and a discectomy. So basically, that bottom portion of my back is now metalwork, rods, little disc hockey puck things, and cement, and all sorts of weird things. It has affected my future prospects. However, I keep saying the only guarantee of failure is if you quit, and I can't be bitter about it forever. You know, I'm sure we've all been through these sort of experiences in our life where we can be very frustrated with things and look back and think, oh, I wish someone did this, or I wish I did this, or you know, it's happened now. You know, you've got to get on with it and move on. Since that time, I've been actively trying to recover from the surgery, doing everything I possibly can within my own strength, understanding, knowledge of the surgery that I had to get better. Been a very drawn out process, but my recovery has been greatly expedited from having a good diet and sensible training regime. Incremental, progressive, sustainable, what's the word? You know, I've had the SMART goals. So there's sustainable, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time specific. I've done all those things, but recently my sacrum, which is the part below where I had the surgical site, has become very, very, very painful. Sitting and twisting is painful. Getting up off the floor, if I manage to get on the floor, is very painful. Twisting is very. Also, my right hip, I'm getting referred pain. Now, I had hip pain prior to surgery, so it's not new to me. The pain recently has been ridiculous. To the point it's affecting my sleep, my movements, my day-to-day activities. Means I've had to go back on some over-the-counter painkillers, which I am strongly averse to. I don't like taking them. But I don't want to lie in bed all day and feel miserable. So I like to get on with things, go outside, see family. That's how I participate in life. So that's a bit doom and gloom, but you know, I stay active, I keep myself busy, I'm mentally much more stable than I used to be, and I'm doing everything I can in my power to feel better. I'm listening to myself, most importantly, which is also I've been living in this body now for 27 years, and I kind of know what does and doesn't work. I've actually managed to mitigate a severe disability in spite of my injury, because I've been training with this injury since the age of around 13 years old. So I'm quite proud of myself for what I've achieved, but I am also very frustrated that I'm in a lot of pain, which is really annoying. But like I said, I've got to move on and just get on with life and see what the future holds. Yeah, cool. I hope that made sense to you and it didn't sound too bitter, but I'm just got to get on with it, you know. That's what life is. Not too bad. I could be a bit better. The sad thing is, I don't know if you know who Ronnie Coleman is, but he had the same surgery that I had on the spine, and he managed to get 8 Olympia titles. I didn't get any. What I'll do one day is I'll actually get all my trophies out and show you guys what I've achieved in spite of all this, because I always look back at that. I'm not a materialistic person. I don't look at things and think, oh, look at this, I've won this and I'm so great. I don't look at that. I think, wow, I managed to achieve this in spite of this. I think it says a lot about my own character, I think, and I know a lot of people find me inspiring and stuff, so that's why I continue doing these sort of videos and try to give people useful advice and speak from my own perspective, my own experience. Hopefully help a few people out, because there are people out there that are suffering immensely just like I am, or perhaps even more. You know, it's very possible, and I do believe that some people really are suffering. They're stuck in bed all day and they need some inspiration. So hopefully these videos that I do and I talk about these different things come out and people find them useful, informative, inspirational, and hopefully gets them in a positive mindset, you know, because I had a very, very, very dark mindset prior to surgery. I'm pulling myself out of it and I'm trying to get well. I'm doing all I can. There's nothing more I can do. Yes, hope you get well soon. Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, it's nice to speak to people that are like-minded. So everyone in my chat, Most people I know are unwell or trying to achieve something with their health or physique at some point, and it's nice to speak to people that are trying to do the same thing. So it's, what's the word? There's a word for it, but I do appreciate it. Thank you. What ratios would you recommend for cutting body fat? Um, as a rule of thumb, you might try 1-to-1 protein to fat grams. As for amounts of protein and fat grams, I don't have a clue. Now, Val, you could be someone like myself, quite large, be someone much smaller. So I'd have to know your stats. I'd also have to know what your current body fat is, what your output is, what your activity is. Anyone claiming to know exactly what you need to be doing is either wrong, ignorant, or lying to you, or trying to sell you something. All I can say is if I consulted with you and you gave me this information, I'll be able to put you on at least the right path. Then from that, you'll be able to find your own way and tweak things to suit you. I know people often come to this way of eating way too much protein and not enough fat. So it's very broad, and it may not even apply to you, but that's something I do notice very often. So hopefully that's useful to you. Cocker as well, very simple. Yeah, very sweet animals. They're just so full of energy. My stepdad's friend is a breeder of them, and we got him because it was the last one of the litter, and he's a very sweet little dog, and there's nothing wrong with him, but he was crazy. He never calmed down. We'd walk him for hours, be running back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We couldn't wear him out. I think he had something wrong with him, but we did stimulate him a lot and keep him very busy mentally and physically, but we couldn't keep up as owners, so we had to do the right thing. Now Guy's being looked after by a young lady and her partner, who I believe work in an equestrian centre, and that's out in the forest, probably half an hour away. He's out with other dogs, having a whale of a time, so he's happy, I believe, and that's what's important. Jerome, you're trying to wind me up again. So Jerome said, but to lose body fat, you need to be in a calorie deficit. Kidding. Hope this triggers Jonathan. Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, that's a perfect segue into the video that I've got coming out tomorrow. It's on, excuse me, my back is not good. I will have to go very shortly. If you have any questions, please put them concisely below and I'll get back to you in the best detail I can. Yeah, I've got a video coming out tomorrow, which is the 18th of February. Yeah, I think so. And I'm talking about calories in, calories out versus the mass balance model. Now, I won't give away what I talk about in that video, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I strongly advise you guys watch this because it is revolutionary to a lot of people. It wasn't to me because I kind of thought this already. I've been saying the same thing for a long time. But you know, it's like when you've got a little bit of ego about what you've been saying and it kind of comes to fruition. You know, I say this, other people say something in opposition, and it didn't make sense to me. I thought, I'll leave it there, you know, just let people think what they want. Now I've got the science which backs it up, you know. When I say the science that backs it up, I mean there is a better method to predict body mass than using calories. I mean, how many times do we know people that have had, for example, I used to do this all the time. I'd look at my calorie intake for food, supposedly, and it might be 3,000 per day or a several day period. I thought, okay, to lose 1 pound of fat, I need to eat in a 500 calorie per day deficit over a course of 7 days in the week. This would not happen. I'd do exactly that, and I was very meticulous with counting calories. It didn't work. So that told me something was wrong here. Now, I kind of discuss the study which highlights this, and I do actually link into my consultations a little bit in this video. So some of you might get a bit annoyed with me sort of trying to sell something, but ultimately the information I give out is very clear in this video. It tells you what you need to do, gives you workable ideas, and it gives you a better option than using calories in, calories out. You'll find that video quite useful. I think it's one of probably the most applicable videos I've ever made, which could be used for a vast variety of settings. I think that people will benefit a lot from it. It's a sort of video I could send to like my mates down the gym that believe in like carb cycling and I don't know, doing cardio. Like they'll find some value to it. You know, the bro scientists. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it, because I did spend a good 20 minutes filming it and a good 10 minutes scripting it. So not very long, but I think you'll enjoy it. Hopefully you do. Leave a comment below that video as well if you do enjoy it. If you've got any questions as well, just ask them in the next Q&A, which will be on Monday. Brilliant. Yeah, it'll be good. Just so you guys know, I will be live with Dr. Jacqueline Fade on Monday. So I'm guessing like 3 days from now. She is an expert in statistics. She has a background in the field of statistics and science, basically. She is very intelligent. She also suffers with autistic spectrum disorder. She's been live on, well, she's been on Bart K's channel, and she's been on my channel before as well. She does have some brilliant insights into the field of science as it stands and autism. And she truly cares about other people. That's why I wanted her to come on, because it's nice when you speak to someone that you can relate to, which is quite unusual sometimes for me, because I'm a bit weird. And that will be at, I believe, 7 p.m, by the way, but double check on the time. I believe it's 7 p.m. UK time on Monday this coming week, on the, I think it's 20th or 20th maybe. Yeah. And you probably spent another 2 to 3 hours recording. Yeah. Yeah, I did. Getting the lighting right is the worst thing for me. I've got light up here, which is in this direction. It's the only light that actually works in my room, and it points directly towards me. If I didn't have these lights on, it'd kill me. I'd feel horrible. But I spend a lot of time faffing around with lights. Honestly, you'd be amazed. Yeah, hopefully you guys will find the next few videos we've got coming up very useful. I've decided to start something which is a bit like a diet/training critique segment of my channel. It's not so much to use 4-letter words and offend people and say how wrong people get things on the interwebs. That's Professor Bart K's expertise. That's not my area of expertise. He's a lot better at it than I am. But the point is, the average viewer that is maybe on a standard Western diet can watch my videos and think, I never really thought of that. Maybe this guy hasn't got it all right. Maybe this diet or training methodology isn't quite the right thing he needs to be doing. So they might find that informative. It might lead some people to start the carnivore diet. It might lead them towards my channel. So it's a way of opening up my avenues a little bit. And I have somewhat sorted out the audio quality of the next video that's coming up, and that is me discussing the training and dietary regime of Cristiano Ronaldo, the best footballer in the world. And hopefully you'll find that video useful and sensible. I didn't cover every aspect that was brought up in the video because I thought it'd be a bit, I don't know what the word is, a bit too detailed. I could be there for hours, but it leaves room open in the comment section for you to ask questions on things that he said, which perhaps we might not usually agree with. No, you're not weird, or we all are. Yeah, I'm all right. Not too bad. I'll tell you what is weird though, sitting here as an autistic 27-year-old man that does bodybuilding, talking to a camera. Well, the camera's actually here, but my face is here. I just look at myself because I don't do this sort of thing, so I don't find it too distracting. That's got a green screen behind him that doesn't actually, this stuff doesn't exist behind me, it's just green paper. And responding to questions on the internet from people I've never met in a lot of cases. It's very bizarre, but I'm trying to get better at it. Honestly, yeah, if you looked at me when I was maybe like 10, 12, 15 years old, whatever, you'd be quite shocked at the transformation I've made as a person. not to sort of brag about myself and say how much I've achieved in that sort of sense, but hopefully it sheds a light on the fact that we can be better and change ourselves as time goes on. And, you know, it might be 3, 4, 5 years down the line, I'll become even a lot better than what I am right now, which is highly ideal. I'd like to become a lot better, but we'll see how it goes. But these will be good to look back in maybe a year from now when I'm a bit better at presenting myself and see how it all goes, and see how my viewership changes. I might get, you know, all the autistic carnivore people follow my channel. I've got a few already, which is nice, but hopefully I have some other people that will join the rambling. Yeah, I don't know if I can screen share with you guys. I might try and do that now. If you bear with me a second, I'm just trying to find a way of showing you on the screen. This is not my field of expertise. Oh, I don't know how that works. It's me. Oh, yeah, there we go. So I can find the videos I've got. You can do is find my videos that I record. How many times I record my videos, you'll be amazed. So this, I believe, that you see on the screen here, try to get a big for you guys. These are, I believe, 2 videos that I filmed. So 2 videos that you see online are filmed within these videos. That's how much time I spend faffing around making videos. It's truly frustrating. I really do try my best. I'll move this around now. But yeah, I'm going to end this now because I have not got any more questions. Been grateful to have around 13 people in the chat, generally speaking, throughout this Carnivore Ramblings live segment. I look forward to seeing you guys soon, and we'll be joined with Dr. Jacqueline Fade on Monday at 7 PM UK time on my usual Carnivore Rambling segment. If you like my upcoming videos, please leave a like and a comment below them. It does help me out a lot, and it does take about 10 seconds. It's worth doing for me. As you can see, I do spend a lot of time making these videos, so yeah, I appreciate that in advance if it is possible for you guys. Thank you, Jamie. It's nice to see you. I'll hopefully see you again on Monday if you get time. Monday at 7 PM. All right. Have a good evening, guys, or good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are, and take care.